Welcome to the course module section of your course shell. This is where you're going to upload all the content and assignments that your students are going to be responsible for. And so I'm going to walk you through what features are embedded in them already, what you're going to have the ability to do, and if you're not interested in using them, how to get rid of them so that they're no longer there. So let's jump right into it. Let's share that screen and get everything ready to go. Okay, so down here in the course modules, we have 10 modules preloaded, ready to go. And the reason there are 10 is because there are 10 weeks within the course. In theory, is set up for 1 week. We've titled modules 1, 2, and 7 as examples and for general information. However, module 1 and 2 were specifically set up for a particular reason. Module number 1, accessing college resources remotely, which we covered in a different tutorial, which is all right here. It's important for students to be able to get the help and support they need right away, and so we felt putting it in module 1 made sense. And then module 2, study skills for remote education. We felt that was important to get put into the course shell right away as well, so that students are prepared for the next, I guess at this point it would be 13 or 14 weeks of the coursework they're going to be responsible for. So let's go into module 2 and let's look at how this is set up. Okay, the first thing I want to point out is this module access, and all of the modules have this item module access. What that is just a blank, a general statement explaining when the modules will be available. Okay, so I did a sample. This module will be available from August to May, right? Obviously, that doesn't make sense, so you would have to change it. So where it says module access, all you need to do is click on this little gray circle, click on edit, and then where it says from August to May, you could just insert dates here. Click submit, and now you'll see this module will be available from insert dates here. So now when the students go to module 2, they will know when they are responsible for this particular module. Now, let's talk about the module itself. So here's what a module is. When you go to build content and you see module, right? Or module page, what that is it's basically an organized folder. So instead of creating a new folder, you're creating a module, and it's basically organizing all the information so that students go into that module and everything's laid out in a very particular way. The first thing you should know how to do is edit that module. So the same way you would edit anything else, you click on this circle, click on edit, and you'll have the ability to make adjustments. You can change the name of it. In the text, you can put information about the module. I like icon and text. I throw that in there. This is a unique feature that is currently off, but you can turn it on, and I have turned it on for specific modules in the past. It just depends on what the information is. Enforce sequential viewing of learning module. What this is a way for you to require students to go through the module in a very specific order. So while the order may be preset, if it's on no, they can just click around to whatever item they want to go to. But if you want to make sure that they're going in a very specific way, step by step, then you would want to enforce sequential viewing. And so there are times when I do require this, especially if there's something related to tests or quizzes, or if there's specific information they need to know before moving on to the next information, then I would enforce this sequential viewing. But if it's just general information that you want students to have access to and the order is not really super important, then you can click that as no. This is another important thing. Remember when I showed you before the module access, right? So if you know that you're going to have this particular module open for a specific date range, when you edit this module, okay, make sure you put that date range in here. And this way, all the information in this module will be available for that date range. And then the last thing is I like to have a table of contents in here, and I'll show you exactly what that looks like and what that means when I give you an example later on. But table of contents is definitely useful and helpful for students. Okay, so let's now go into the module. To go into the module, all you need to do is click on it. And when you click on it, you'll see there's already information in here. So remember, this is module 2, study skills for remote education. And so we've already added online success strategies. It is a web link that's going to take students to an area of the college's website that will help them be successful. And there's a lot of online success strategies in here that may be useful, especially for this particular module. Okay. Now, this is the area that may be confusing for some of you. So you don't have to use it, you can delete it, but I will promise you, if you figure out and learn how this works, it will make things very, very easy for students. And the easier things are for students to follow, the less emails you're going to get about course layouts, and there will be less confusion. Okay, so what this is called is a lesson plan. So if I go to build content, lesson plan, okay, that's what this is. It's basically an area where you can really spell out exactly what's expected of the students. So before I even dive into that, let's just go to this edit section. We're going to edit it real quick just so you can see what to do. So here's Module 2 Learning Experience, and you can put a description in here, okay? Estimated time required. So what's nice about this is you can see there's sections that are already here. And so you see how it says add lesson plan section. So I've already added a couple in here. Estimated time required. Let's pretend it's going to take 1 to 3 hours. That's really important because if students underestimate how much time is required to get work done, they may save it for the last minute and now they're going to run into some issues. But if they know it's going to take 1 to 3 hours, they can plan in advance. That's really important. Objectives. What am I supposed to learn in this module, right? And so I've put sample objectives. You can change this any way you want. What's the topic? What are we going to be learning about? And then who's the instructor, right? You can put your name there. Now, let's say you wanted to add more information. You can go to add lesson plan section and look, you can add an author, an instructional level, a time period. I like to add what's known as an availability section. You could do, so let's say I do time period, and instead of time period, I'm going to change this to availability and then click save. And I might say like so you can see I already had some stuff here, closes and when the assignments due. Okay, but if you notice, it's not clicked with share with students. You have to click share with students, otherwise they won't be able to see it. Okay, and if you don't want that in there, you can just click this X and it disappears. So you can add information. Remember, all of these, you can change what's known as the element name. You can change it to whatever you want and add information in there. Okay, so this may seem confusing, but all you need to do is just lay this out properly. And I'll show you what I've put in the description and the objectives and how this is all laid out. And when you're done, you just click save and continue. Okay, now that was content information right here. You can also add curriculum resources. Personally, I don't like to add information in the curriculum resources. I find it to be a bit confusing. So instead, what I do is instead of putting it here, I'll just add content directly in this module area. And so this way I've separated the lesson plan from the assignments. I found that just from personal experience working with this feature, it's easier to just separate it this way. You don't lose or forget what's where. Okay, so you can just add assignments however you want to add them, no problems. And so now I'm going to actually take you to one of my courses and show you exactly how this looks. So this is my weight training class. And if I take you to, say, my module 2, okay, so here's that module. Here's what they're going to need to do. And here are the objectives. So that's what I've added in the text section. And remember, this is student preview. So what you're seeing right now is what the students will see. Module access, this is their module access. Don't worry about this. It's a bit of a unique feature that I've added. Just know that I have the date range in here and students know exactly what needs to be done. Now watch what happens when they click on the module. This is what the lesson plan will look like to the students when you fill it all, when you completely fill it in. So when you go in here, this is the first thing students do. So you get a description. Here's what you need to do for this module. Estimated time to completion. Here's when it's due by. Here are the objectives. These are all the assignments they're responsible for. Subject area, and then just my name. Now remember earlier I mentioned something about the table of contents. This is the table of contents. So what's nice is these are all assignments, but if you had readings or other information in here, students can click through and skip around, or if they have to go sequentially, you can just click on the next arrow, and if you look here, here's a quiz, click to launch and it'll take them to a quiz. Then it takes them to their assignments. And so each one of these has the assignments already uploaded. Here's the information. They know exactly what they need to do within this particular module. And if I exit the preview, just so you guys can see what I see or what you're going to see as you're filling this out, it's just taking a second to exit the preview. So I apologize, it's being a little slow. But if I go back, this is the faculty preview. Okay, so when I go in here, this is what it looks like. So you can see here's my lesson plan, but all the information, all these assignments and quizzes are added outside by using assessments. But if I click on that particular lesson plan, here's all that information that I had shown you how to add in earlier before. And so this is how it looks when it's all set up, and you're good to go. So the main thing I do want to point out is related to just some of those date ranges. You don't need to set a date range inside the module. The only date range you need to worry about is for the actual module itself. So when you go to Module 2, this is all you need to set a date range for, and everything inside this module will have those exact same parameters. It will have the same date range. So you don't need to set a date range for all the assignments you're putting in here. You only need to set a date range for the module. Because remember, the module is essentially a fancy folder, right? A folder that you can kind of organize and help students kind of guide those students through those assignments. And so as long as that module has a date range on it, everything in it will have the exact same date range. And that's really just an easy way to get everything up there. Now, let's say this just is not for you. That's okay. All you need to do is click on this circle and delete it. And you can delete all this information and just upload your assignments however you're most comfortable doing. But remember, the key here is usability. The easier it is for students to figure out how to work their way through the course, navigate the assignments, and gather the information they're going to need, the less emails you're going to get, the less confusions there's going to be, and the more successful your students are going to be. Because remember, this is all about engagement. It's a lot of retention. We want them to be successful, and the easier it is for them to flow through the course, the more likely they're going to stick with the course. So hopefully you'll be utilizing some of these features. If you don't and you're more comfortable with other things, that's totally fine. But if you have questions, don't hesitate to call Blackboard up. They'll walk you through it. Don't hesitate to reach out to the Center for Innovative Pedagogy. You can always shoot me an email and we can figure out a way to get through it as well. But you have support yourselves to work through some of these modules. But remember, if you invest the time in the beginning of the semester, that's going to be less time you're going to have to invest later on in the semester because you've set things up to prevent potential issues down the road, and that's going to free a lot of time up for you, and that's a big deal. So I hope this is helpful. I hope you'll experiment with it. Good luck and enjoy.